Welcome to the Reality Revolution. This is Brian Scott, and today we're doing the Financial Destiny Upgrade Activation. We are elevating your predestined level of wealth and abundance. This is a financial metamorphosis, a portal into the architecture of your cosmic abundance blueprint. In this activation, we're not exploring concepts. We're rewiring the very foundation of your relationship with wealth. Think of your financial destiny as code written before your birth, algorithms of limitation programmed into your soul's journey for specific growth experiences. I had several coaching appointments where I really tried to explore into the Akashic field for my client to see why they were continually experiencing lack and limitation, even though they were following all of the advice that I gave them, doing the meditations, doing the work, and I really profoundly believed them. And I discovered as I read into their energy field that they had contracts that they had set up prior to their birth. This is a concept that Quo talks about. Oftentimes before we're born, we choose what kind of life we're going to live, and we actually create our own limitations. We choose to live a life of poverty to see what that brings out in us. But here's the revelation. Those constraints and contracts were not meant to be permanent. They're scaffolding, temporary structures designed to build specific strengths. And now, as the new earth awakens, fourth density is activated, as the collective consciousness accelerates into higher frequencies, we stand at a unique threshold where these pre-incarnation contracts become malleable, fluid, responsive to our evolved awareness. You can get rid of these contracts that have been limiting your abundance. This activation serves as both key and doorway, a technological interface between your current financial reality and the unlimited abundance that pulses through the quantum field. Through carefully calibrated linguistic patterns and consciousness-altering resonance, I will bypass your logical mind and speak directly to the subconscious architect of your reality. This transformation is not gradual. It's immediate and absolute. As you surrender to this process, notice how the old constructs of limitation begin dissolving, how the very fabric of possibility expands around you. This isn't just manifesting. This is recognition and remembrance of your inherent birthright to boundless prosperity. In these next moments, I will realign your financial destiny beyond what your current self can imagine. The only question is, are you ready to become the wealthiest version of yourself that ever existed across all timelines? Consider for a moment that before you drew your first breath in this physical form, you participated in a grand design meeting, a soul contract negotiation where you deliberately selected certain financial parameters for your human experience. These weren't arbitrary limitations, but carefully crafted growth catalysts, economic obstacles designed to forge specific spiritual strengths within you. The profound truth is that these pre-incarnational financial blueprints were not meant to be permanent fixtures of your existence. As you awakened and evolved your consciousness, you were to get the ability to dissolve these contracts. They operate as evolutionary scaffolding, temporary frameworks, constructed to build particular aspects of your consciousness. And as our collective awareness accelerates into unprecedented frequencies, these once rigid contracts have become remarkably fluid, responsive to your expanded state of being. This is a direct recoding of your financial DNA. Take a moment to settle your physical vessel into a position of receptivity. Your body becomes the antenna through which this transformation will flow. Slow down your breath and let it deepen naturally. Each inhalation draws in particles of infinite prosperity. Each exhalation releasing the outdated contracts that have constrained your financial expression. Now, as you descend into the architecture of transformation, let your awareness begin a magnificent adventure through the vessel that houses your consciousness. This physical form, this extraordinary biological technology, becomes your gateway to rewiring your financial destiny. Allow your attention to cascade from the crown of your head downward, like liquid light flowing through every cell and fiber. Notice how your scalp begins to tingle with pleasant awareness, a heaviness, how the muscles of your forehead begin to smooth and release. The sensation of release isn't just physical, it's the dismantling of neural pathways that have maintained your financial limitations across decades of thought patterns. The relaxation floods down through your eyes, your jaw, and your neck. Each surrender, a deliberate unraveling of tension that has held your prosperity in rigid formation. As your shoulders release, feel how they've been carrying the weight of financial anxiety, of scarcity programming installed before you had the consciousness to question it. Let them melt now, creating a space for expansive abundance to flow through these newly opened channels. Your breathing transforms into a technological interface between dimensions of possibility. I want you to visualize a magnificent doorway appearing before you, its structure composed of swirling golden light, its surface inscribed with sacred geometries of abundance. This doorway exists at the intersection of all possible financial timelines, all potential wealth realities that exist for you across the multiverse. Feel yourself drawn toward it, pulled by the gravitational force of your own highest prosperity. As you approach this threshold between worlds, notice how time begins to stretch and compress around you, how a single moment expands to contain limitless possibility. Your consciousness hovers in this expanded state, where transformation doesn't require time, only permission, only surrender. The doorway pulses with invitation, each beat synchronized with your heart. With each pulse, you sink deeper into this receptive state, this creative, hypnagogic realm where reality becomes malleable, where financial destiny becomes a conscious choice rather than an inherited script. Your awareness expands exponentially, reaching toward the infinite field of all potential. In this sanctified space between thoughts, between breaths, between heartbeats, you become both the creator and the creation, the programmer and the program, the financial destiny and its architect. You've now entered the perfect state of receptivity, where transformation happens instantaneously, where evolution accelerates beyond the constraints of linear time. Your consciousness floats in the fertile void where all wealth possibilities simultaneously exist. And in this sacred state of expanded awareness, you begin the recoding of your financial reality. This activation accelerates the rewiring of your neural pathways, dissolving energetic blockages and transmuting limiting beliefs into portals of possibility. In the vast expanse of non-physical reality, that dimension of time where consciousness exists in its pure potential state, you participated in an elaborate architectural design session for this lifetime. Picture yourself as a luminous being of pure awareness, collaborating with other aspects of cosmic intelligence to craft the perfect curriculum for your soul's evolution. Among these designed experiences were specific financial parameters, deliberate constraints you encoded into your incarnational blueprint. These weren't random limitations, but precisely calibrated growth catalysts. You selected particular economic thresholds, wealth ceilings, a financial thermometer, abundance blockages, not as a punishment, but as evolutionary technology, challenges designed to cultivate a very specific spiritual attribute that your soul sought to develop. Some souls choose material limitation to master detachment. Others select financial struggle to develop resilience, while others engineer delayed abundance to learn patience and trust. These pre-incarnational choices weren't made from the limited perspective of your human self, but from the omniscient viewpoint of your higher consciousness, aspect of you that perceives the magnificent aspects of your soul's journey across all existences. But here's the revelation that is sending shockwaves through reality itself. We have collectively entered an unprecedented phase of planetary and consciousness evolution. We have entered into fourth density. The vibrational frequency of our shared reality is accelerating at an exponential rate, creating a unique window where the previously fixed contracts of incarnation have become remarkably fluid. The rigid parameters of your financial destiny have become malleable in ways that were impossible until this precise moment in cosmic history. This phase transition, this quantum leap in collective awareness, has acted dormant codes within your DNA, and I am just the catalyst that allowing for the conscious renegotiation of your soul contracts. The agreements made before birth were never meant to be permanent fixtures, but evolutionary scaffolding to be dismantled once their purpose was fulfilled, and they have been fulfilled. And for you, this moment is now. See your consciousness as a quantum field containing infinite financial possibilities simultaneously existing. Your current experience represents merely one probability wave that collapsed into physical reality, not because it was the only option, but because it aligned with the contracts you established before this incarnation. Now, as these contracts become renegotiable, you gain access to probability waves of abundance that were previously limited to your conscious creation. Let's create a mental technology, a consciousness interface where these contracts become visible and tangible to your awareness. Envision yourself entering a sacred chamber. This luminous space exists as the intersection of all dimensions, the nexus point where spirit translates into matter, where thought becomes reality. In the center of this chamber is a complex multidimensional sacred geometry pulsing with light. This is the visual representation of your financial soul contract, the energetic coding that has governed your relationship with material abundance since birth. Approach it now with reverence, recognizing it as a technology that you created, that has served your evolution perfectly until now. There was a reason that you placed these limitations upon yourself. As you orbit this geometric structure, notice how it's composed of interlocking patterns, symbols and light codes, some portions glowing brightly while others appear dense or opaque. The dense areas represent the financial limitations you chose, the abundance restrictions that have shaped your journey. Now witness how the rising frequency of your consciousness, amplified by this activation, begins to interact with this contract. This previously solid structure begins to shimmer with new malleability. The fixed becomes fluid. The predetermined becomes reprogrammable. This is the visual representation of your newfound ability to consciously renegotiate the very foundation of your financial reality. Place your awareness, your consciousness upon this sacred geometry. Feel how it responds to your touch, how it recognizes your sovereign right to modify these agreements. The contract hasn't been violated or broken, it has evolved. You were meant to come here in this moment to renegotiate it. This was not available until you reached this precise frequency of awareness. This is the mechanism through which your financial destiny transforms. Not through any sort of external manipulation, but your own internal reclamation of your creative authority. You stand now as both the creator and the creation, the programmer and the program. recoding the very fabric of your economic reality from its quantum foundation. Let's illuminate the invisible limitation that has been operating beneath your financial awareness. These patterns weren't installed by some external force, but were sophisticated technologies of growth, self-selected constraints designed to catalyze specific evolutions of your being. Within the quantum field of your awareness, allow a panoramic vision to emerge, a bird's eye view of your financial trajectory across this lifetime. See how certain patterns repeat with almost mathematical precision, the income plateaus, the unexpected expenses that arrive just as abundance begins to flow, the investments that fall short of their potential, the opportunities that somehow slip through your fingers. These aren't random fluctuations, but precisely orchestrated manifestations of your pre-incarnation programming. Notice how your financial reality reflects your deepest beliefs about worthiness, about what's possible, about your place in the economic ecosystem. Your bank account isn't just storing currency, it's storing consciousness, reflecting back to you the exact vibrational frequency that you've been transmitting. Within this chamber of awareness, watch as these patterns begin to take symbolic form. For some, they manifest as intricate chains of golden light, beautiful in their complexity, yet restrictive in their function. These chains might represent ancestral beliefs about money that have been passed through your genetic lineage, the unspoken rules about wealth that whispered through your childhood home. For others, these limitations appear as transparent walls, boundaries that allow you to see abundance on the other side, yet prevent you from fully accessing it. These walls represent the invisible thresholds you've unconsciously established, the precise point where increased wealth begins to feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or somehow dangerous to your identity. Some might perceive their financial limitations as complex knots in the energy system of their being, places where the natural flow of abundance becomes constricted, redirected, or completely blocked. These energetic constrictions correspond to specific beliefs. Wealth requires struggle. Money corrupts spiritual purity. I don't deserve more than others. Financial security means sacrificing freedom. As these representations emerge in your consciousness, approach them not with judgment, but with profound curiosity. These limitations weren't mistakes. They were sophisticated technologies serving your evolution that you placed before you were ever born. The income ceiling wasn't a punishment, but a catalyst for developing creativity and spirituality, taking you to this very point right now. The persistent debt wasn't a failure, but a vehicle for learning discernment. The financial anxiety wasn't a flaw, but a gateway to surrendering control. Feel the emotional resonance of each lesson these limitations have delivered, the frustration that taught persistence, the scarcity that cultivated appreciation, the financial uncertainty that developed trust in something beyond material security. These emotions weren't accidental byproducts. They were precisely the alchemical elements your soul sought to experience. With each financial constraint recognized, express gratitude for its service to your evolution. This gratitude isn't spiritual bypassing. It's vibrational technology that releases the energetic grip these patterns have maintained on your reality. As you acknowledge each limitation with genuine appreciation, notice how its form begins to shift, to dissolve, to transform from solid constraint into fluid potential. You're not erasing these patterns. You're graduating from them, integrating their wisdom while transcending their restrictive function. This graduation happens not through rejection, but through recognition, seeing clearly the brilliant purpose each limitation has served in your soul's curriculum. You understand now there is no need for the contract to move forward. You acknowledge that deep within your subconscious mind. Feel how each constraint has brought you precisely to this point of awakening. Without these exact limitations, you wouldn't possess the consciousness, awareness necessary to transcend them or to even try this activation. You chose this activation for a reason. The very restrictions you've experienced have cultivated the spiritual strength required for this transformation. Now, having fully honored these self-imposed limitations, you stand at the threshold of their dissolution. Not because they failed, but because they succeeded perfectly. Their purpose is complete. These patterns now surrender to the next phase of your financial evolution. Now you arrive at the most profound threshold, the moment where conscious dissolution meets cosmic recreation. In this sacred chamber of awareness, your financial limitation contracts from previous incarnations hover before you in their full complexity. Witness as these contracts coalesce into a singular geometric form, a structure pulsing with encoded information, with energetic signatures, with vibrational frequencies that have shaped your economic reality since birth. This sacred geometry contains every financial ceiling, every abundance blockage, every prosperity limitation that you have experienced. Its complex facets reflect the light of consciousness back to you, showing you the exquisite architecture of your self-imposed constraints. This contract exists simultaneously across multiple dimensions. In the quantum field, where possibility collapses into manifestation. In the emotional body, where feelings create vibrational frequencies. In the mental realm, where beliefs generate reality. And in the physical dimension, where these energies crystallize as your financial circumstances. Place your awareness directly into the center of this contract, of this geometric shape. Feel how intimately it's connected to your being. Not as some foreign implant, but as an aspect of your own consciousness design. In this eternal moment, I invite you to speak the words of dissolution, not from your human voice, but from the infinite aspect of your being that exists beyond all limitation. From the core of your consciousness, declare, I acknowledge this contract has served its perfect purpose in my evolution. The lessons have been integrated. The wisdom has been absorbed. The growth has been achieved. I now graduate from these limitations with profound gratitude for their service to my becoming. As these words reverberate through the quantum field, notice how the very structure of your field begins to respond. First, the subtle vibrations, then with increasing luminosity. The previously solid facets start to liquefy, the rigid geometries begin to flow into new configurations. This dissolution isn't destruction, but transformation, the release of fixed potential into fluid possibility. I grant myself full and complete permission to experience unlimited financial abundance. I release all unconscious vows of poverty, all generational patterns of lack, all spiritual beliefs that wealth is incompatible with purpose. I dissolve all thresholds of discomfort with prosperity. With each permission statement, watch as specific facets of the contract dissolves in streams of light, restructuring itself into new patterns that support rather than restrict your abundance. In the quantum field, where consciousness interfaces with reality, this dissolution is actively recoding the energetic blueprint from which your financial experiences manifest. Say this with me. I now claim sovereign authority over my financial destiny. Reclaiming creative power. I had temporarily delegated to these limitations. I choose a new trajectory of exponential abundance that serves my highest evolution and the greatest good of all beings. Time begins to behave differently in this space of transformation. What seems like moments in ordinary reality expands into what feels like hours, days, even lifetimes of profound recalibration. In this expanded state, your entire financial history undergoes comprehensive restructuring. Past experiences reframing themselves, present circumstances realigning their energetic foundations, future probabilities reorganizing into new configurations of possibility. Feel how this dissolution creates a temporal ripple effect, moving backward through your timeline, reinterpreting financial challenges not as failures, but as prerequisites for this awakening. Simultaneously, it ripples forward, collapsing probability waves of limitation and expanding channels of abundance that had previously been constricted. Say this with me. I allow this transformation to integrate completely through all dimensions of my being, through my DNA, through my cellular memory, through my subconscious programming, through my energetic field, through my soul's imprint, through my physical reality. As the final facets of the limitation contract complete their dissolution, they don't disappear but transmute, reforming into a new architecture of prosperity consciousness. You did it. You planned for this moment where you would come to your contract and renegotiate it. This new geometry doesn't restrict but amplifies, doesn't constrain but catalyzes abundance through every aspect of your being. Feel the weight of this transformation, the substance of it, filling every cell of your body, every facet of your consciousness. Your financial blueprint has been fundamentally recoded at the quantum level. In this expanded moment that contains all moments, you exist at the juncture point between who you were and who you're becoming, between the financial reality you've known and the prosperity consciousness now awakening within you. Now you enter into the quantum architecture of possibilities, where your financial reality isn't fixed, but exists as multiple concurrent timelines, each vibrating at different frequencies of abundance. As your awareness expands beyond linear perception, these potential realities become simultaneously visible, a spectacular array of probability waves extending outward from this present moment of consciousness. Before you manifests what appears as an infinite corridor of light, each pathway representing a distinct financial timeline available to your consciousness. Some of these paths glow dimly, reflecting the limited abundance of your previous contracts. Others radiate with blinding luminosity, channels of prosperity so magnificent that your previous self might have dismissed them as impossible fantasy. Notice how each timeline emits its own unique frequency, a vibrational signature that corresponds to specific financial realities. You can perceive these frequencies not just visually, but feelingly, each pathway creating distinct sensations in your energetic field. The limited timelines generate familiar sensations of constriction, of subtle anxiety, of perpetual reaching for just enough. While abundant pathways produce expansive sensations, openness in your chest, relaxation in your solar plexus, a profound sense of sufficiency that borders on euphoria. Your awareness hovers in this corridor of possibilities, sovereign and empowered to select which timeline becomes your lived experience. This selection doesn't happen through force or struggle, but through resonance, through the natural gravitational pull between your consciousness and the reality that matches its frequency. Find yourself naturally drawn toward one of the most luminous pathways. You may have been here before if you've tried previous activations. This is a timeline of financial abundance that perfectly aligns with your soul's highest expression. Step fully into this timeline now. Feel it envelope your being, its frequency recalibrating every cell of your body, every thought pattern, every emotional response. Your entire system begins resonating with this new probability, collapsing all other options as this reality crystallizes into your experience. Within this new timeline, project your awareness forward to experience key moments of your financial evolution. See yourself 3 months from now, noticing the first tangible evidence of this activation, unexpected income appearing, creative financial solutions emerging, a profound shift in how money flows through your life. Experience the emotional quality of this future moment, the surprised delight, the validated trust, the deepening certainty that something fundamental has changed. Move forward to 1 year from now. Witness yourself operating from an entirely new financial baseline. See specific details of this reality, the numbers in your accounts, the nature of your income streams, the quality of your material environment, the freedom in your financial choices. Feel the internal shift, the absence of financial anxiety, the natural expectation of abundance, the ease with which you give and receive. This doesn't take time. It's not hard. Everything is working out for you. All is well. Witness this. Now accelerate forward 5 years. Immerse yourself completely in this established prosperity consciousness. Experience a day in this reality with all your senses activated. See the environment you move through. Hear the conversations about wealth you engage in. Feel the sensations of making significant financial decisions with complete confidence. Taste the sweetness of life, where material resources flow in perfect alignment with your purpose. As you fully embody this future self, notice how you relate to money, not with grasping or protective energy, but with creative partnership. This version of you doesn't chase wealth, but collaborates with it, doesn't hoard abundance, but circulates it with joyful responsibility. This is not about accumulation, but becoming a conscious conduit for prosperity that benefits all beings. Anchor this new financial destiny through deliberate sensory associations. Connect this prosperous reality with a specific physical gesture, perhaps touching your thumb and middle finger together or grabbing your earlobe. Associate this financial consciousness with a particular breathing pattern, a deep inhalation through your nose, followed by a slow, complete exhalation through your mouth. This breathing becomes a way of remembrance, instantly aligning your entire system with the prosperity frequency that you've activated today. Link this transformed financial identity to a specific word or phrase that resonates deeply with your being. When you speak this word, it functions as a command code to your subconscious, instantaneously realigning your energy field with this abundant timeline, regardless of external circumstances. Feel how completely you now inhabit this new financial reality. It isn't something separate from you, but has become integrated into the very fabric of your being. The integration is complete. The new financial trajectory is established. As we arrive at this pivotal threshold of your activation, we prepare to install a complete new financial identity at the core level of your being. This isn't merely adopting new thoughts or behaviors, but a fundamental reconfiguration of who you are in relationship to abundance. Identity precedes experience. What you deeply believe yourself to be determines what really manifests around you. Listen deeply as these affirmations bypass the analytical mind and speak directly to the quantum field of your consciousness. Each statement carries embedded coding that rewrites neural pathways, energetic patterns, and subconscious programming. I am the embodiment of infinite abundance, naturally attracting wealth through the unique frequency I emanate. Money flows to me with effortless ease because wealth recognizes itself through me. Financial abundance expresses itself through me as naturally as breath flows through my lungs. My prosperity isn't dependent on external circumstances, but radiates from my inner state of aligned consciousness. Wealth is your natural state. I now operate from complete financial sovereignty, consciously directing the flow of abundance through my life. Every decision I make comes from a place of unlimited resources rather than perceived scarcity. You have always been abundant. My relationship with money is one of creative partnership rather than anxious pursuit. I collaborate with financial energy as a conscious co-creator, directing it toward experiences that fulfill my highest purpose. I am the quantum architect of my financial reality, consciously calibrating the vibrational frequency that determines what manifests in my material experience. Every cell of my being radiates the signal of unlimited abundance. Money recognizes me as a natural conduit for its expression. I don't chase wealth, I emanate the precise energetic signature that magnetizes financial abundance into every aspect of my life. My wealth consciousness exists independent of external circumstances. Market fluctuations, economic conditions, and global events have no power to disrupt the prosperity that flows from my aligned state of being. The universe's abundant resources flow to me in perfect divine timing. I release all unconscious timing patterns that have delayed my prosperity. Financial manifestation accelerates to match my elevated consciousness. My energetic field has been permanently recalibrated to the frequency of exponential abundance. This isn't a temporary state, but a fundamental transformation of who I am in relationship to wealth. You are abundance expressing itself in human form. I navigate financial decisions from a state of inspired certainty rather than anxious calculation. My intuitive connection to abundance consciousness guides me to opportunities aligned with my highest prosperity. The boundary between my being and infinite wealth has dissolved completely. I no longer perceive myself as separate from abundance, but as the embodiment of it, the human expression of universal prosperity. My financial worth is no longer tied to action, effort, or external validation. I generate wealth through the quality of consciousness I bring to each moment rather than through perpetual doing. All previous contracts of limitation have been completely dissolved. My consciousness has been upgraded to recognize and actualize financial possibilities beyond what my previous self could imagine. I exist in perfect resonance with the frequency of wealth. This alignment isn't something I achieve through effort, but something I allow through the surrender to my natural, abundant state. My financial identity operates beyond the limitations of linear causality. I generate wealth not just through sequential action, but through nonlinear consciousness that collapses probability waves of abundance directly into my experience. Every thought, emotion, and belief I hold about money has been recoded at the quantum level. My entire system now naturally produces the vibrational signature that manifests as material prosperity. I release all unconscious vows of financial struggle that have operated beneath my awareness. Any belief that wealth must be earned through hardship has been completely dissolved from my energy field. The version of me that doubted unlimited abundance has been lovingly integrated and transcended. I honor that aspect of my journey while embodying a new consciousness that exists beyond all limitation. I am now activated as a node of abundance consciousness within the collective field. My prosperity isn't just personal but radiates outward, elevating the financial frequency of everyone I encounter. My relationship with money has been transformed from one of transaction to one of communion. I experience wealth not as a separate resource to be acquired, but as intelligent energy seeking expression through my unique creative channel. You have always been the source of all abundance you seek. Abundance flows through the path of least resistance, and you are that path. With each affirmation, your nervous system recalibrates to this new baseline of abundance. The synaptic pathways that once fired in patterns of scarcity now reorganize themselves around prosperity frequencies. These statements aren't describing who you might become, but who you already are once the veils of limitation have been lifted. The wealthy version of you isn't a future projection, but a concurrent reality you're now stepping into with full awareness. As these statements integrate through your being, the old financial self undergoes a metaphorical death and rebirth. Envision yourself standing at the edge of a luminous pool, a sacred water source that represents the pure potential of abundance consciousness. Step into these waters of transformation, and as they rise around you, they dissolve every aspect of the old financial identity, the beliefs about limitation, the emotional patterns of scarcity, the habitual thoughts of not enough. These waters don't destroy these aspects, but transmute them, extracting their evolutionary wisdom while releasing their restrictive patterns. Submerge yourself completely in these waters of rebirth. In this sacred immersion, your consciousness experiences a moment of complete dissolution, a surrender of who you've been in relationship to wealth. In this surrendered state, the waters infuse every cell of your being with the vibrational frequency of unlimited abundance. And as you emerge from these waters, you are literally a new being, reborn into a financial identity that exists in perfect resonance with prosperity. This reborn financial self carries distinct characteristics, an unshakable knowing of unlimited resource, a natural expectation of prosperity, an absence of anxiety around money, a generous circulation of abundance rather than fearful hoarding. From this moment forward, your relationship with financial reality operates from this new identity platform. You don't need to remember to think abundant thoughts because abundance is now your natural state of being. You don't need to practice prosperity techniques because prosperity is now your fundamental identity. This installation is complete. The new financial identity is fully integrated. All contracts have been dissolved across all levels: cellular, energetic, emotional, mental, spiritual. You haven't just changed your thoughts about wealth. You've literally become a new being in relationship to abundance. The new financial blueprint that you've installed doesn't require constant attention to maintain its integrity. It operates as an autonomous function of your consciousness, continuously generating the vibrational frequency of abundance regardless of where your awareness is focused. In the days and weeks ahead, you'll begin noticing evidence of this shift appearing in your external reality. The transformation follows a precise sequence that begins with subtle internal changes before manifesting as tangible external experiences. First, you'll notice shifts in your emotional relationships with money, a curious absence of anxiety, a natural expectation of sufficiency, a relaxed certainty about financial matters. Then, your thought patterns around wealth will transform. Without conscious effort, you'll find yourself naturally considering possibilities that would have seemed unrealistic before, effortlessly generating creative solutions to financial challenges, spontaneously recognizing abundance opportunities that previously would have been invisible to your perception. Soon after, synchronicities related to prosperity will accelerate in your experience. Unexpected financial opportunities appearing, fortuitous connections with wealthy individuals, surprising solutions to long-standing economic challenges. These are not random coincidences, but direct manifestations of your new consciousness interacting with the quantum field. Finally, these energetic shifts will crystallize as measurable changes in your material circumstances. Increased income, unexpected financial windfalls, creative abundance solutions, a tangible elevation in your economic baseline. To fully ground this integration, I invite you every day to reinforce your new financial identity. Each morning when you wake up, each evening before you sleep, place your palms together at your heart center. This creates a closed circuit that amplifies your energy field. And with 3 conscious breaths, silently affirm, I am the embodiment of infinite abundance. That's all you have to say. This will create a temporal container around your day, ensuring that regardless of what experiences unfold, between morning and evening, your system maintains its calibration to the frequency of prosperity consciousness. I just want to extend profound gratitude for your willingness to step into this expanded financial reality, the courage required to release these limiting patterns, to embrace a new identity, to claim your power. This represents the leading edge of consciousness evolution on our planet right now. The transformation that you've experienced today continues to deepen with each passing moment. Your experience of this financial transformation represents valuable data in our collective understanding of consciousness technologies. So I invite you to share your observations in the comments below this video. The synchronicities that appear, the internal shifts you notice, the tangible changes in your prosperity experience, your sharing not only validates your own transformation, but contributes to the elevation of abundance consciousness in our collective field. For those feeling called to accelerate this financial evolution even further, click on the activations playlist, and I have dozens more financial activations that address a variety of different aspects of your financial journey. And the more we focus on this, the more we use my reticular activating system and yours, the more we fine-tune this process of revolutionizing your prosperity blueprint. Until we meet again in the field of infinite possibility, continue to embody the truth of who you've always been. Pure abundance expressing itself in human form. And welcome to the reality revolution.